a distracted life. Every minute must be accounted for. You're either checking off a list, staring at a screen, or rushing to the next destination. And no matter how many ways you divide your time and attention, no matter how many duties you accomplish, there's never enough time in a day to catch up. That was my life for 2 frantic years. My thoughts and actions were controlled by electronic notifications, ringtones, and packed agendas. And around my neck was a ticking clock that at times was so heavy I could barely breathe. Every fiber in my inner drill sergeant, okay, thank you. Every fiber of my inner drill sergeant wanted to be on time to every activity on my overcommitted schedule, but I wasn't. You see, 7 years ago, I was blessed with a laid-back, carefree, stop and smell the roses type of child. When I needed to be out the door, she was taking her sweet time, finding her sunglasses and the perfect hat. When I needed to be somewhere 5 minutes ago, she insisted on buckling her stuffed frog into the car seat. When I needed to grab a quick lunch at Subway, she had to speak to the elderly lady and give her a hug because she looked like her grandma. And when I had a full agenda that started at 6 a.m., she insisted on cracking the eggs and stirring them ever so gently. My carefree child was a gift to my type A, task-driven nature, but I didn't see it. Oh no, when you're living a distracted life, you have tunnel vision. All you can see is what's next on the agenda, and anything that cannot be checked off the list holds no value. Whenever my carefree child caused me to deviate from my master schedule, my inner clock screamed, "We don't have time for this!" Consequently, the 2 words I most often said to my little lover of life were, "Hurry up." I started my sentences with it. "Hurry up, we're going to be late." I ended my sentences with it. "We're going to miss the whole thing if you don't hurry up." I started my day with it. "Hurry up and eat your breakfast. Hurry up and get dressed." I ended my day with it. "Hurry up and brush your teeth. Hurry up and get in bed." And although the words "hurry up" did little, if nothing, to increase my child's speed, I said them anyway, maybe even more than the words "I love you." But one fateful day, that all changed. We had just picked up my older daughter from school, and we were getting out of the car. Not going fast enough for her liking, my older daughter said to her little sister, "You are so slow!" And she crossed her arms over her chest and let out an exasperated sigh. And in that moment, I saw myself, and it was a gut-wrenching sight. I was a bully who pushed and pressured and hurried a small child who simply wanted to enjoy life. And my eyes were opened. I saw with clarity the damage that my hurried existence was doing to both of my children. Although my voice trembled, I looked into my small child's eyes and I said, "I'm so sorry I have been making you hurry. I love that you take your time, and I want to be more like you." Both of my daughters looked equally surprised at this unusual admission from their drill sergeant mother. But my little daughter, she had that unmistakable glow of validation and acceptance that I had not seen on her face. I knew that if I could keep my vow to live more like her, it would be a life changer. Well, it was pretty easy to banish the words hurry up from my vocabulary. What was not so easy was adopting this little girl's leisurely pace and becoming more patient. But I discovered a powerful visual that helped me do it. And I envisioned myself taking off the ticking clock. When my daughter and I took walks or we went to the store, whenever I could, I took off the ticking clock and I allowed her to set the pace. When she stopped to admire something, I would push thoughts of my agenda out of my mind and simply observe her. I witnessed expressions on her face that I had never seen before. I studied the little dimples in her hands, and I watched the way her eyes crinkled up when she smiled. I noticed the way that people responded to her when she stopped to talk to them. I saw that she spotted little interesting bugs and pretty flowers and tiny miracles all along our path. My child was a noticer. And I quickly learned that the noticers of the world are rare and beautiful gifts. And that's when I realized she was a gift to my frenzied soul. My promise to slow down was 3.5 years ago. And living at a slower pace still takes concerted effort from me, this reformed rusher. But Avery is my living reminder of why I must keep trying. And this summer, she reminded me again. The two of us had taken a bike ride to a snow cone shack while on vacation. And after purchasing the cool treat, she sat down at the picnic table and she admired this icy tower that sat before her. And then a look of worry came over her face. "Do I have to rush, Mama?" she asked, and I nearly cried. I thought, the scars of a hurried life, maybe they don't ever completely disappear. As my child looked at me, waiting to know if she could take her time, I knew I had a choice. I could sit there in sorrow thinking about all the times I rushed my child through life, or I could celebrate the fact that today I'm trying to do things differently. I chose to live in today. "You don't have to rush, baby. Just take your time," I said to her gently. Her whole face brightened and her shoulders relaxed, and we sat side by side, just talking about the things that guitar-strumming 7-year-old girls like to talk about. And we sat in silence, just kind of looking around and admiring the sights and sounds around us. I thought my child was going to eat the whole darn thing, but when she got to the last bite, she held out a spoonful of icy crystals to me. "I saved the last bite for you, Mama," she said proudly. As I let the icy goodness quench my thirst, I realized I just got the deal of a lifetime. I gave my child a little time, and in return, she gave me her last bite and reminded me that things taste sweeter and love comes easier when we stop rushing through life, when we take off the ticking clock. And now I sit on the floor. I take off the ticking clock when I sit on the floor of my daughter's bedroom as she holds up every single shirt she owns, contemplating which one to wear to school the next day. I take off the ticking clock when she's asked me to come listen to her play her new guitar chords, despite the excruciating long pauses in between each note. I take off that ticking clock when she says, "Mama, can I make my own sandwich?" And I know it's going to make 3 times the mess and take twice as long. And I take off the ticking clock when she says, "I want to do my own hair, Mama." and it's a style that takes no less than 7 minutes and looks like a bird's nest in the back when she is done. I'm not going to lie. These offerings of my time, my presence, and my patience, they require deep breaths from me, a reformed rusher. But with every triumph over my rushing ways, I heal a little more. You see, I worried about the scars of a hurried life on my child, but now I know the scars of a hurried life may be deepest on me. Yet there's something incredibly healing about letting go of the need to control everything, including time and schedule, and feel at peace knowing I'm exactly where I need to be. It's healing to feel the carpet imprints on my legs as I sit and watch her tiny fingers navigate the strings of the guitar. It's healing to watch her confidence soar when she walks out of the bathroom having done her own hair. It's healing to hear her sigh with contentment when I rub her back because she can't sleep. It's healing because in those moments, time as I know it falls away. In those moments of surrender, there is nowhere else I truly need to be. There is no ticking clock weighing heavy on my soul. I know every minute of life cannot be like this. I know. There are situations when we need to pick up the pace. There are appointments, tardy bells, deadlines, common courtesies. There is a balance needed to live intentionally but responsibly. I know. But in my life right now, there is something more pressing at hand. There must be time to wave the elderly man across the Target parking lot. There must be time to ask the barista how her day is going. There must be time to embrace the man I love before we go our separate ways. There must be time to watch my children sleep, because when I find myself thinking there isn't time to kiss the ones that saved me from my distractions, I might as well strap on the ticking clock and struggle for my next breath. But I refuse to live my life by the sound of a ticking clock, because I've been educated by one of the world's leading experts on joyful living, and she has showed me that the sound of my own steady breath and the heartbeats of the people I love are the most precious sounds to live by. And such sacred sounds of life can only be heard when we choose to take pause, even as the rest of the world goes whizzing by. Thank you for listening to my story.